Today I want to talk about the saints, especially their relation to the Catholic Church, because Catholics tend to like the saints a lot. And it might even come to the point where it comes across as almost worship of the saints or a very intense focus on the saints. But I want to debunk this idea that Catholics worship saints and give a better idea of their interest or their relationship to these holy people. And I want to touch first on prayer and praying to the saints, because people often get the idea that people pray to the saints, which is wrong. You might say, why are you praying to a saint? You should only be praying to God. And that is absolutely correct. The idea is not that you're praying to a saint, it is that you're praying for the intercession of a saint. Let me backtrack for a sec. Saints are people who we can pretty confidently say are in heaven. People who lived holy lives here on earth, who have now died, and we can pretty confidently say by looking at their lives, are now chilling with God up there. And what I mean by asking for the intercession of saints is essentially the same thing as if you would ask a friend to pray for you. Say if you have a family member or a loved one who is ill, and you ask your friend or like your pastor or your youth minister or whoever to offer up some prayers for your ill family member or loved one. And the saints are people who are in heaven, who have probably a pretty good relationship with God and probably had a pretty good prayer life while they were alive, so that you ask them to also pray to God for whatever your intention might be, the same way that we would ask anyone we know. But we can be certain that the saints are going to offer you some pretty good prayers because they're pretty holy people. Now, this idea of whether people worship the saints, because you see things like statues or icons or churches named after saints or people who are pretty intensely interested in certain saints. Here's the analogy I want to give, and I think it's a pretty good analogy that I've come up with. The Green Bay Packers. I'm a Packer fan. I'm from Wisconsin. Lambeau Field. Outside of Lambeau Field, where the Green Bay Packers play, they have a statue of Vince Lombardi, who is a legendary coach for the Green Bay Packers. And inside the stadium, they have big banners and retired numbers of legendary players like Bart Starr, Reggie White, probably Brett Favre. And really for any other sports team you look at, they have retired numbers of Hall of Fame players, maybe even statues outside the arena or the field. And heck, even the stadium might be named after a legendary player of coach. Lambeau Field, for example. But if you're a fan of the Green Bay Packers and you show up to Lambeau Field to watch a game of football, you're not showing up because Vince Lombardi's statue is outside or Bart Starr's number is retired. You're showing up for the game of football and the Green Bay Packers. When it comes down to it, you might have loved the great players and coaches of the past and appreciate what they've done for the game of football or for the team you love, but the ultimate reason why you are there is for the game of football and for the team that you are rooting for. And it's the same thing with the faith. We can honor and appreciate the great players of the Catholic Church history, but in the end, we're there for Jesus Christ and we're there for God. We're here for the great faith and the great Christian life that those saints represented in the way they lived their lives. It's not like we call basketball the Michael Jordan game. We just think of Michael Jordan and how great he was at playing basketball. That's why there's statues. That's why people still talk about him. In the same way, if we talk about St. Thomas Aquinas or St. whoever, it's not the religion of Saint whoever, it's the religion of Jesus Christ. And we look at these saints and how well they lived that Christian life and contributed to the faith. And we honor them the same way we honor great players and great coaches. But in the end, we are worshiping the one true God and His Son, Jesus Christ. Hopefully that makes sense. If you like that analogy, let me know in the comments below. If you have any other questions about this whole deal, also leave those in the comments below. God bless.